Good morning to everyone. Happy, wonderful Thursday with some beautiful fresh snow. It's nice to see that winter has decided to arrive in our ski town. I'm Abby McNulty. I'm the Executive Director of the Park City Education Foundation. And we wanted to welcome all of you today and say a special thanks to our Scholar Circle members who are leadership annual donors to the Park City Education Foundation in supporting our work of funding initiatives that help all students reach their academic and lifelong potential. We have been a collaborative and trusted partner of Park City School District for over 34 years. And annually, we invest about $1.5 million into Park City School District to support key programs. Mitch, if you could forward the slide, please. These are the programs that we support. We encourage you to look on our website, which will be entered into the chat, to learn to do a deep dive on these programs if you're interested. As well, you can take a look at the programs that we support at each school, including your own, Jeremy Ranch. Now more than ever, because of our COVID-19 pandemic, we appreciate and understand the value schools and teachers play in our community. First and foremost, just a heartfelt thank you to all of our educators. And
yeah, I'm just trying to log into this Zoom call, but I can't hear anything. It's with Park City Education Foundation.
Good morning. We're so glad to have you. You can, it will take a minute for your audio to click in. And if you have background noise, please go ahead and you can mute and you can also start your video if you'd like. It's at the bottom of the screen. I'm Abby McNulty with the Executive Director, and just doing a quick introduction before I toss it over to Principal Kuennan. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of our educators and our administrators for the amazing work they're doing this year, hosting our students in school every day. The Ed Foundation, to support our incredible staff, has launched a teacher wellness initiative in addition to the programs that we support on an annual basis, as well as a student wellness initiative. And you can also learn more about that on our website. The goal is to provide our teachers and our education staff with just moments of gratitude and thank you, whether it be a coffee camper coming to the school or frankly, some emergency financial relief if they've suffered hardships because of the pandemic and the economic fallout. So I wanted to say thank you. Also, a special thanks for Superintendent Gilday, who's joined us on the call today, and for her leadership this year and every year of our school district. With that, let me tell you a little bit about the flow for today. I'm going to introduce Anna Stampley. This conversation is being recorded. And we encourage you to ask your questions in the chat function, which is at the bottom of your screen. We're reserving 15 minutes at the end of this, at the end of the presentation to answer your questions about Jeremy Ranch and Park City School District and the Ed Foundation. So with that, let me introduce Anna Stampley.
Hi, everyone. Abby, thanks so much. And thank you all for joining us this morning. My name is Anna Stampley. I am the Parent Education and Community Engagement Coordinator for the Park City School District. I moved to Park City with my family 3.5 years ago from a small town, actually not so small, but 30 minutes north of New York City, named Scarsdale, New York. And when my husband and I moved our 4 children to Park City, they were entering 4 different levels of education here in the school district. My son was entering his junior year at the high school. And I have 3 daughters, one of which was entering her 9th grade year at Treasure Mountain Junior High. And that was a new school for us to understand as a new family, because in New York, we didn't have that structure of a junior high school. And then I have two other daughters. One was entering 7th grade at Ecker Hill Middle School, and my littlest was a 5th grader at the time, and she was at Parley's Park Elementary School. And what we learned as a community, and what Dr. Gilday and the school board recognized, was that as our community developed, we would need someone at the school district to answer our questions and to guide us through processes and procedures to help us navigate through the school district for our children. And that's how my position was created. I look forward to answering your questions this morning, and I look forward to answering your questions in the future. At the end of this conversation, my information will go up for you to have. As you enter your questions today for Principal Kuennan and myself, please just keep in mind that we'd like everyone to benefit from the answers. So if you have something specific about your child to ask, please save that for a later date. And now I would like to introduce Principal Kuennan.
Good morning. I'm Shawn Kuennan. I get to be the principal at Jeremy Ranch, now in my 12th year here. So I have a good idea of the history of this school and how we've gotten to where we are now. And while I sit here in this empty room and talk to people around the town, I thought I would mention just a few things in case you're not familiar with Jeremy Ranch Elementary School and why you would be interested in having your children attend this school. I thought I'd talk just a moment about what makes it a wonderful, amazing place. And it's really this fantastic community. We've got an amazing faculty and staff that hold themselves to such high standards and are held in high regard by the community at large. We've got remarkably supportive families in this community that want to see the best possible school outcome for their kids and put the time and the effort into really welcoming and supporting everybody here at the school. Our students have really, I think, shown their appreciation for the school that we have this year. As have we all. It's weird to be in a pandemic, of course, but it has a lot of silver linings to that dark cloud. And one of those is coming together at school and all working together to make sure that we're providing the best possible outcome for our kids and our community. I want to thank everybody at the Park City Ed Foundation. A lot of the reason that Jeremy Ranch is such a fantastic school is the support that we've received through the Ed Foundation and through everyone's donations to that organization. As you probably know, we have kind of a split school because we've got a French program, dual language immersion program, that services roughly 50% of our students. And then we have a STEM program for those students who are not in DLI. It's not a 50-50 program like a French DLI, but it is an intensive enrichment in science, technology, engineering, and math. And the Ed Foundation has been so supportive of that in regards to supplies and materials and staffing when the program was just getting started. So that makes our school quite unique. The Ed Foundation has provided so many other things in addition to that. We are the one school in town that has partnered with Playworks, an organization that helps us structure our recesses and create the largest classroom in the school out of our playground. And we're on our 4th year now with Playworks, and it's really been transformational because it creates a good recess every day, and a good recess leads to a good school day. That would not have happened without the Ed Foundation's help, as well as contributions to our computational thinking program, our PACE program, also important things like interactive projectors in our classrooms, our after-school program, which was already mentioned. And this year, it became so important to help out our vulnerable families And much of that took place through the Ed Foundation's help. So thank you, Ed Foundation, and thank you to everybody who contributes to the Ed Foundation, because it goes directly to our students. That's all that I wanted to bring up. I'll try to keep it short and sweet, but we can continue moving on. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal Kuennan. And while we're waiting for hopefully people to ask some questions, I too want to thank the Park City Ed Foundation for this series of Meet Your Neighborhood Principal, because without this conversation that we've hosted on Zoom together in partnership with the district and the Ed Foundation during this pandemic, we wouldn't have been able to meet our principals in this way. We haven't been able to get into the buildings and to experience that this year. So I want to thank everyone at the Ed Foundation. And as this is our last conversation, Principal Kuennan, on behalf of myself to all the principals, I'd like to thank you for participating in this, because it is important to make that connection. Actually, Principal Kuennan, I have a question. You mentioned the PACE program, and I know my children at those levels when we joined the district participated in the PACE program. Could you describe that a little bit more to our families?
This would be a really good time to know what that acronym stands for. And I can't come up with it off the top of my head. Maybe somebody in the chat knows, but it is enrichment for our highly academic students. It used to be known as the Gifted and Talented program. The PACE program, as it works now, enables us to offer those kind of enrichment activities to all students. Within our school community, those students who qualify for the lion's share of PACE opportunities are those that are in roughly the top 3 to 5 percentile in terms of scoring on the academic materials that determine who's in a PACE program. And we have a tiered system with 3 tiers of service. And the first tier is all students receive some enrichment from our PACE teacher. Level 2, our second tier students, are those that are recommended by their teachers for a little something additional, something that extends the learning in the classroom. But that's a fluid group of students based on what's going on in class at that time. And our tier 3 students are those who have a dedicated time each week where they get to spend some time going deep on various subjects with our PACE teacher, such as debate, such as geography, such as math. But in that way, all of our students have some kind of access to extended material.
Actually, I'm going to piggyback on that. And right after I admit that Jennifer Billow said PACE stands for Program for Academic Challenge and Enrichment. And right. And the way we do it here and the way you described it, Principal Kuennan, is it supports equity, so that all children have access at some level to this programming and this enrichment in their schools. And so that is an excellent way to elevate all children. So thank you for describing that. Abby, do you have a question for Principal Kuennan?
Yeah, I was really love to hear you talk about Playworks. That I know that's been a big initiative at Jeremy Ranch for several years. And actually, I taught a graduate course this fall, and one of my students is an employee at Playworks, and so got to learn about it from the organizational and institutional side. And I loved what you said about a good recess equals a great day at school. And as an elementary parent, I can see that too. Can you tell me a little bit more about how that works at Jeremy Ranch and what the kids are learning through the program?
Absolutely. And Abby, it looks different this year, of course. The primary thing that we're doing to keep everybody safe is is we keep our students within their classrooms as much as possible without mixing classrooms together. And so recess, of course, is when a whole grade level gets to play together, and that's not happening in 2020-21. What we've done instead is we've divided our playground into 9 zones, and those zones rotate so students have a different opportunity, but they're playing just with their class. So also in the past, we would have a Playworks coach who would come and keep things running 1 week of each month. That's not happening simply because we're not bringing outside people in. So everything I have to say about what Playworks does is really going to be based on last year and then hopefully next year. But the idea is that we teach all students the same games, and then we provide opportunities for those games to take place in a safe environment at recess. So it's a structured recess in that there are games available. It's not a structured recess in that everybody's required to play a certain game. So games are available but not required. And if everybody learns the same rules, it takes a lot of the dispute out, and it can be just for fun. And the games can be structured in such a way that they run just fine with the students themselves running it. However, another important component is that we have a team of our older students that are junior coaches, and they'll go out and help with the younger grade recesses. So it builds a community that way where students are helping students and playing with students. It also, for us, enabled us to do a better collection of students at the end of recess. I'm guessing that everybody on this call has enough experience with elementary school to imagine the mad rush that happens at the end of a recess. And there needs to be a structure to collect everyone. Through Playworks, we were able to create that, and that enabled us to do recess before lunch, which is an additional important component. In most of my years here, we've done lunch and then recess, and the downside to that is students are so eager to get outside and play that they don't enjoy their lunch, or in many cases eat their lunch. And so we wind up with a rough afternoon because of the desire to get out and play is interfering with the need to have some solid nutrition. So last year, what we started is lining the students up at the end of their recess and bringing them in to have lunch afterwards. It's not a hit with everyone, but there's no way we're going to please everyone. I think we're pleasing more people that way because students are getting their wiggles out and then having a good meal, and they're more quickly able to get back into academics. So I think that's been a big success, and that's really helped us in our pandemic situation as well, because now we're able to bring students in and send them to their classrooms for lunch, and it's working much better. Anyway, yeah, Playworks has been really valuable in helping structure what happens in that mostly unstructured time.
Thank you. I love to hear also about the leadership opportunity for the older kids to provide some structure and guidance for younger kids. That's a great thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a great program actually to integrate a lot of skills that the children need in order to understand importance of play and education and nutrition and mentoring each other. So it sounds really great. Are there any other questions about programs that the Scholar Circle and your donations support? I am part of the Scholar Circle as well. And I think supporting education through donations and helping our school district be the best in the state is what we need to do. So
I would love to talk for a moment, as long as the questions
Yes.
aren't flooding in, about our positive behavior incentive system, which we affectionately call PBIS because everything has an acronym in education. But this is thanks very much in part to the Ed Foundation as well for contributing financially to help us get this program off the ground. The long and short of how it works is we have colored beads that we reward students for their good behavior with, and then we ask the students to collect those beads until they get to a certain level. It's a leveled system as well. But we want our students to have dog tags that represent the qualities that we want to exemplify at our school, which are honesty, caring, responsibility, and respect. And we give students an opportunity to demonstrate that, and we reward them through the school. And then as students gain their beads or their dog tags that represent their proficiency, then we have no or low cost opportunities for students to participate in something fun or something that gives back to the community. One thing that's been really fun for our kids is we just have them come into the library and we darken it, and it's a reading time with flashlights. We've had a Rochambeau rock off where everybody gets to just decide who is the best at Rochambeau. We've had sidewalk chalk days. We've had poster making days and so forth. That it's a fun diversionary activity for kids that shows something is being given back to the school. So we're in our second year of that. Pandemic year makes it a little different, but it's still very helpful in bringing our school to some sort of unity.
Yeah, it's a great way to build leadership, and community from within. I really love that. We do have a question from Jamie Woolley. As a parent of 2 former junior coaches and a parent of a younger student who utilizes the older kids, I can attest to the program. Oh, that was a comment, not a question. Here's another question. I come from a district that capped donations to the schools to force equity among schools. Is there a system like that here, or are donations for specific schools or programs uncapped?
I'll take that. So there's 2 different ways really to support a school. One through your local PTA and PTO. And I know that every school has a really robust PTA, PTO in Park City. And then through the Park City Education Foundation. And we support programming pre-K to actually post-high school graduation. We have a program that supports our first generation college students get to and through college. And the Education Foundation looks at the whole spectrum of the school district and the educational experience of students and families while they're here, as well as providing support to educators too. So we do annual fundraising to support those 8 key programs that I showed earlier, our slide, and please feel free to spend a little time on our website digging around. And one of those is classroom grants, and those classroom grants are determined by a volunteer committee of teachers and parents and community members who look at the grants that come into us every year, every spring from our schools, from our teachers, our administrators, and then make decisions on allocations. It is based off of the value of the grant itself and the needs and the priorities of every school principal. And we make awards in that way. And all in, we support about $1.5 million in programs each year at the 7 schools. And it equates to about like 100 different classroom, programs and reaches all 5,000 kids. So I'm not sure if I answered your question specifically about caps. I don't think there is a cap. And schools have multiple different ways to support priorities and initiatives in their building, PTA and the Park City Education Foundation.
Thank you, Abby. So we are reaching just a couple more minutes left to our conversation this morning. And oh, Jen says, as Abby noted, we do not fund based on schools, but based on the grants requested and the overall needs of the district. I think that's important to know as well. Thank you both. And if there are no other questions, I hope you have all benefited from our conversation this morning. Here's my contact information in case you would like to reach out or have thought of a question after we end this conversation. Please reach out to me at the district office and Principal Kuennan or Dr. Gilday. We're all willing and very able to answer your questions whenever they come up. Thank you again to Park City Ed Foundation, Dr. Gilday, Principal Kuennan for the conversation this morning, and for all of you for joining us this morning for our conversation. Here's the Park City Education Foundation information as well for you to have. And again, thank you. Enjoy this snowy day, and we look forward to speaking with you soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.